Hey guys, this is Steve Huff at SteveHuffPhoto.com. I'm here today with the brand new Leica M Monochrom. This is the new version, the M Type 246. Leica's using those numbers. Basically, this is a brand new monochrome based on the M240. The last Leica monochrome was based on the M9 and used the M9 sensor. Basically, the M9 sensor converted to a black and white monochrome sensor. This one's using, basically it's based off the M240 sensor, but it is now strictly a monochrome only sensor. What does this mean? Why wouldn't you just take an M240 and convert to black and white? Well, you can do that and you can get great results and you can get close, but the monochrome line of cameras offers something very unique. The black and white style of these cameras is a bit different than what you would get out of a converted black and white. This is a true monochrome sensor. So this means you're going to get pretty much, you're going to be able to shoot this with super high dynamic range, super low light quality. I was shooting around the house at ISO 12,500 and the shots were pretty clean. Better than the ISO 10,000 of the previous monochrome, which got a little rough. I then tested a shot at 25,000 ISO pushed, and it looked pretty good as well. So this is something that if you want the best, well, there's really only one monochrome camera in the world in production today. Both are by Leica. The old one is no longer in production because this replaces it, but you can still find the old version. How is this better, or is it better than the old version? That is the question. Just having it for under 2 days, I can tell you 100% it is a huge improvement in many ways over the old monochrome. But yet again, there will be those who prefer the output of the old monochrome because some people, you become attached and bonded to a camera and you get used to that output. And then when something changes, you really kind of don't really like it, and it takes you a while. Me, I love the M240. I much prefer it to the M9 in every single way, from body style to battery life to LCD to quickness to shutter to feel of the body to live view to focus peaking to having these features and the super long battery life, as well as the improved image quality. High ISO is way better than the M9. Color is better. Everything about it is better. You just have a different look to the images, and it's slight. With the monochrome, you will have a different look to the images than the old monochrome, the one based on the M9 sensor. It's the same thing. Your files from the new monochrome will look more creamy. They'll look a little more rich, and from what I've seen, it has better dynamic range. The old monochrome had a tendency to blow highlights pretty easily. This one does not. So I think anyone who is going to look for a true monochrome camera, I think the one to look for today is this one right here, which I'll call the Monochrom 2. It's a very handsome camera. It's all matte black, just like the first one, except you now have the M240 body with all the improvements, the menu, everything. The rangefinder is improved. Every part of this camera has been improved since the old monochrome. Again, but some of you are going to prefer the image rendering from the old one because that's what you're used to, but I'm telling you there's many benefits to this. This is basically my first look video at the Leica M246, the new monochrome. As you can see, I have a grip attached. It's not really attached, it's just sitting on it right now because I'm going to take it off. This is a JB Designs wooden grip, and it fits the camera perfectly. It's an M240 grip, but since this is the same body as the M240, you can use the same accessories of the M240. So if you have a half case for the M240, it'll fit right on to the camera. If you have any accessory, it'll fit right onto the camera. I have a Voigtlander 15mm Mark III attached, which is a lovely lens on the M240, on the M monochrome, or Sony A7 bodies. To me, this is one of the best wide angles you can get right now if you're into ultra wide, the Voigtlander 15. But this JB grip, I really enjoy it on the Leicas because it's actually very affordable. It's handcrafted here in the USA, and it adds that nice grip to the camera. But I'm going to take it off. It's not attached, as you can see. I didn't have the screw inside, but that's the grip. I'm going to take that off. And basically, there's really not much to show with the camera. Like I said, underneath here, if we take the base off, it's an M240, so you're going to have that really good, really nice M240 battery, which, come on, focus, which is incredible. I can shoot a whole week basically with this battery without it running out, but I'm not a machine gun style shooter, but I love this battery. It's so much better than the old monochrome and M9 battery. So down there, it's the same as always. That is where your battery and your SD card goes. The strap, I have just a basic strap. One thing I noticed when I unboxed the monochrome, the old version came with a custom Leica leather strap. Leica cheaped out a little bit, and now they're including the generic plastic and cloth strap that comes with every Leica camera. You no longer get the special leather strap for the monochrome. So me, I just added my own strap that I like. But just from the first 2 days of shooting and testing, I can confidently say, for me, this beats the old monochrome in every way. But you're talking about $7,500 for a black and white camera. The old one was $8,000 for a black and white camera, but it did very well. I believe when Leica released the original monochrome, it wasn't going to be a permanent addition. They wanted to test the waters, and it was very popular. Tons of people bought monochromes, and many people who I know tell me it's their favorite camera of all time. Some call it their death camera or desert island camera, and it's black and white, so that tells you something right there. The Leica monochrome has a huge following. I also found that just about any lens for M mount will work great on the monochrome. You won't have any color issues with any of them. You can use old classic lenses as well and get fantastic quality results. Me, I have a variety of lenses, but one that I really like to use is this right here. It's an old 50 Elmar from, I believe, 1938, and it's tiny, and it's a 50 millimeter f3.5, but it gives a very classic rendering, which kind of goes well with the monochrome. And these things are like, I think I paid $120 for this. Normally they're $350 or so if you find one in perfect condition. So the monochrome has many pros and cons. Pros are, it's the only 35 millimeter, only camera in production today that's a dedicated black and white shooter without having to go get one modified. It has beautiful image quality. The files are rich, it's detailed and sharp. You have astounding high ISO capabilities. Not up there with the Sony a7S, but it's really, you can use it in just about any light. Throw like a 50 Summilux on here, crank it up to ISO 12,500, go into a nightclub and shoot away, and you're going to have some amazing images. That is what's cool about this camera. Also, the buffer's improved over the old version. Everything is improved. So make no mistake, if someone's trying to tell you the old monochrome is better, it's not. The new monochrome is an improvement in every way, shape, and form, and I'm here to tell you that firsthand. I've had the old monochrome. I shot with it on and off for basically since it was released, and now I have this one, and I'm going to do a long-term review with it. But the first part of my review will be up in about 2 weeks, and I'm going to test it with a couple different lenses, a Zeiss, a ZM, a Leica, etc., and some classic stuff. So look for that, but so far I'm really liking what I see. And if you're an avid black and white shooter who loves black and white photography, and maybe you're shooting something like a you know, a SLR or what have you, but you really crave and desire to shoot black and white, this is as good as it gets. This is the holy grail. Now, yes, you can still get great images with any camera by converting them with software. But something about the monochrome speaks to the heart, speaks to the soul. When you're out with it, knowing you're shooting black and white, after a few weeks, you start to see differently because you know what's going to look good in black and white, what's not going to look good in black and white, and what have you. Now, I've been saying a lot recently that the Sony A7 series has been really kicking butt. And for me, the Sony A7S, A7 II are so good, I was using them more than the Leica. So for me, having a Sony for color and this monochrome for black and white is pretty much a perfect setup. Now this, you have to make sure you want to shoot black and white when you go out with it, because that's all you're going to get from it. Shoot raw, that way you're going to get the best quality. Excuse me. And it's very easy to use. The processing learning curve that was there with the old monochrome doesn't seem to be there with this camera. The files are very hardy. They're very easy to process and to manipulate if you want to, where the old monochrome was a bit tricky, very tricky to do. So this has the better sensor, but I guess time will tell to see how it's taken in by the Leica fan base. If you are someone who has the old monochrome and has maybe upgraded to the new one, let me know what you think in the comments here or on my website. It'll be interesting to see what real users think. Me, I love it so far, but I've only had it a couple days and I have to really get out there and use it. So look for my full monochrome review in the next couple weeks at stevehufpphoto.com. This is a beautiful, beautiful camera. It feels amazing. Feels, you know, traditional Leica. It looks amazing. It's very understated and stealth. It's matte black. There's no script. There's no writing. So in other words, it's like a Leica MP in the monochrome version. And a monochrome digital, I always say that it can replicate any kind of film you want to replicate. You can make the files from this camera look like Tri-X, look like Delta 100, look like Neopan 1600. It's basically a black and white digital with every kind of film loaded into it that you can get, except you don't have to pay for film, you don't have to pay for processing, you don't have to worry about 36 rolls per film, you have unlimited. So this is it, the Leica Monochrom Type 246, brand new, comes in at about $7,500. Mine came from Leica dealer Ken Hansen. He's a legend in the Leica world. If you want anything Leica new or used or are looking for something, Ken is your man. And I'll put his email up here on the screen. If you want to email him, tell him I sent you, tell him I said, hey, he's a great guy. So look for the review in a couple weeks at stevehufpphoto.com, and I thank you for watching this first look video. Bye.